Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and hi. My name is Nuraqilah Haidah Binti Ahmad Riduan, and this is the presentation video of my critical review on a journal articles. So first of all, I will explain about my journal articles that I've chosen, and the theme that I choose is cybersecurity with the highlighted uh, issue. Uh, my highlighted issue is privacy. It uses privacy awareness. So let's start our presentation. So as we can see in the screen right now, okay, this is my presentation slide, which is I have to give a critical review on a journal article, and as I said before, the theme is cybersecurity with the highlighted issue, which is users awareness on privacy. And the title of this article is Pokemon Go watching you? A survey on the privacy awareness of location-based apps users, written by Chiara Braghin and Marilisa Vecchio. So first of all, we go to the background of the study of this journal article. So as we know, this goes by, and now there's a lot of mobile applications that are available on iOS and Android platforms, and they come in lots of variety and widely used by people all over the world. And some of them are healthcare applications, games, educational applications like Edmodo, Google Classroom, and basically all these mobile phones makes our life easier. And there's a lots of advantages. I don't deny the advantages of these mobile applications, such as enhancing our communication network, increase users' productivity, and of course, it becomes our life more easier, more flexible, as everything just right under our hands, our fingers, at the end of our fingers. But however, these mobile applications, when there is advantage, there also their when there's pros, there always cons, yeah, the disadvantages. And in my term in cybersecurity, which is these mobile applications are basically starting to invading our privacy, our life, and start to collecting our personal data without we aware of it. And this create a cybersecurity issues to our daily life. And basically this happened because us as the users are lacks of awareness, especially when these mobile applications came out with privacy policy, but we end up not reading it at all, or even uh, not even understanding, but also not reading at all. So basically, this journal article highlighting the idea of users' lack of awareness or reading or and understanding privacy policy of this mobile application that they have downloaded. So this is the summarization of article. What is the purpose of study? Why these journal articles have been made, and why is the major concerns of the authors? So the purpose of study that have become the concerns, the major concerns of the authors is users' lack of awareness on their privacy, especially while downloading mobile application, because they don't read and understand the privacy policy that have been made by the mobile applications. And some of these mobile applications came up with very ambiguous, bold, and shady privacy policy that user unaware of it. So in order to prove their concerns, their studies, they came out with a survey to examine users' awareness on privacy policy of mobile application. And the mobile application that they have choose is Pokemon Go, because Pokemon Go is one of the top mobile application that have been downloaded in all over the world with more than 30 millions downloaded, and it's one of the top games that focusing on artificial virtual life. And the methodology or and how they conduct is through online survey platforms, came up with several questionnaires. The exactly is 16 questionnaires and 208 participants. They use Facebook as the platforms to collect the online survey, and the period is around 1 month, which is a few days, 26 November to 31 December. And it came up with two sections. The first session is to collect use the participants' personal data, age, gender, and education type, and to categorize them based on their type of your players. And the second session is about to study their privacy awareness on mobile application privacy policy. So first of all, um, the authors describe in the article what is Pokemon Go and how this mobile application is being behavior, how it works, and how to play the game. And basically, what can I say about that? Uh, that part is very too detailed, but there are some information are I consider as unnecessary, but just let it go. But during the abstract session, I have to give credit to the authors because they have a very good, clear abstract section, study with the facts and then the purpose of study, and came out with the right findings and simple conclusion. And during the introduction, they explain a little bit about privacy and how shady the privacy policy of the mobile application. And then this is, as you can see on the screen right now, is the permission that are required to be allowed by the users. And some of this information is too highly sensitive, like identifying account of the device, contacts, photos, media, and files, which is unnecessary and unrelated to the mobile applications. And during the privacy policy and term of service, the information it came out with kind of shady information because the mobile application didn't state what they will do with the information of users that they have collected, and only focusing more on the term of the service. So based on the information that I find, these are the findings. So most of the participants are female, and there are three categories of players. The first one is the player. Player size the group of that have played at least once a month. Non-player is those who never install the application, while the former player is the group of people participants who uh, do not play the application at least once a month. So for the players, they have two questions. So the first question is, do you think that the Pokemon Go is used in the context of web marketing by the third-party organization? And 48% of the players claim that they don't know about this issue, even though it has been stated in the privacy policy of the mobile application. And the second question is the question is asking whether they aware the use of advertisement blocking. And the good thing is 37 of them is claim they have a software that blocking ads, because this software have to maintain the privacy of the player, And the argument that has been stated by the authors is that most players are not aware that the company owning the application are free to gather and sell the data to the third-party organizations, and is supported by the percentage, 48% of the players that came they don't know about this issue. And so I have to say that this argument is strong and relevant because the percentage of the users that are unaware of the situation is quite high. And then for the non-players, there are also two questions that have been asked. First, they ask why they do not play the Pokemon Go. This is kind of interesting because the artist is directly conclude that the most players are aware of this privacy policy of the application, and that causing they do not downloading the application. But what it happened is basically is irrelevant because 87% of the main reason non-players do not play this game is because they do not care to play, not because they are aware of the privacy policy. Only 6% of them is not installing this game just because they understand the privacy policy, not because they do not care. So basically, this is a very weak evidence. So I consider this is data is very irrelevant with very weak evidence. So it's not solid at all. And then the second is they're asking the non-players and how they uninstalling the applications. And the author strongly described that users are lack of awareness of users privacy is on one statement, which is they conclude that 93% they do not consider a problem to leave the account open and the data available, and they don't aware that the companies only the app they use for to free collect and sell the data. And it is acceptable because there's a statement in the article that has stated that the data could be archived or backup even after the user have stopped playing the game and uninstalling the game. So basically, the mobile application already invading the privacy of the users because of the action of archiving and backing the data, even though the players already stopped and uninstalling the game. So, and the last question is about the second section is about their privacy awareness, user privacy awareness. So as we can see from the screen, that the question is a very simple question, which is about the privacy policy, whether the users ever read the policy before accepting it. And as you can see on the computer on the screen right now, is 49% admit they do not even read the policy. And based on the data, is supporting the main concern of the authors, which is user has lack awareness on privacy because they don't even read the policy and don't even try to understand the policy. So I consider this analyzed data is very relevant. The arguments is relevant because it has a very strong evidence that supported the arguments that have been made by the authors. And only 6% never accepted a policy that have been made by this mobile application. So the second question is become the real major concern of the authors, which is would the users will exchange their personal data for money? And it's quite shocking because the total of 36% of the users admit that they will sell their personal data to the mobile application if they have been offered by the money. Even 6% will consider the amount of money, is still considered they are willing to sell their personal data. And this has become the real reason why the authors create this study, create this interview, because of this analyzed data. 36% is, it seems small, but it's actually show why uh, this has become the major concerns of the authors. And for me, I consider this as the relevant argument. So the part last is I want to highlight the strength and the weakness of this article. So the first I have found is it has a very clear abstract with a clear purpose of study and a clear methodology, because I understand the whole situation. I understand the whole article because I have very clear abstract what the purpose of study, why they handle this study, because they want to see and examine the level of user awareness on privacy. And they have a very good explanation on the target application and the behavior of this mobile application Pokemon Go. And it also very good in highlighting the major concerns in the application, which is the permission uh, allowed in the permission that have must be allowed by the users before downloading the mobile application, the privacy policy of the mobile application and the term of service. And they able to highlight it as a very good concern for the authors. And the analyzed data is exactly answered the purpose of study. And I have to say that the some arguments made by the authors are relevant to the issue, because these arguments came up with uh, the right evidence, a strong and solid evidence, and some of them came up with a good analyzed data. And so so at the end of the article, I have to say the objective of the study is achieved by the author. And next is about the weakness of the articles. And because of the IS2, the explanation of the mobile application uh, is too detailed, and some of the information I consider as unnecessary. However, there are some of the data that have been missing that I've noticed, which is the educational background. I don't find the data, the analyzed data in the article. However, but it lead the conclusion that the authors made sudden conclusion that the user lack of awareness, but there are no the support evidence of educational background, which could affect users understandings on policy privacy policy. And some arguments by the author are relevant without solid evidence, and the authors also came up with conclusion with weak arguments and evidence. And lastly, I have to say that I have one impressions of the authors, which is the authors is have a narrow-minded and biased by keeping on blaming users lack of awareness of privacy, without coming out with the evidence of uh, participants' educational background, which I found I have been missed in the article. So for me, for the overall review is it's a very interesting journal articles, because it came up with lots of issues, the right target. It came up with the clear and interesting purpose of study, but it quite challenging because it came up with lots of arguments. Some of arguments are relevant and some are not, because of lack of evidence. And authors also came up with several conclusions that as kinda could quite be questionable. But the author successfully brought up the purpose of study. And one thing that I have to say is I have to say the author should avoid a narrow-minded and biased opinions while giving arguments, and especially keep on blaming the users' lack of awareness. So that's all for me. This is my presentation of my critical review. So thank you.